So that was a cute little graphic that Hobby made. I was kind of in StreamYard playing around a little bit, and I saw that graphic was in there, so I thought I'd after count it. Welcome everybody tuning in. It's 49ers Goldmine as well as Jason Aponte, who's on 49ers Goldmine. His YouTube
I was gonna say, did you kick me out?
No.
Did I get kicked out and you guys didn't tell me?
Absolutely not. If anyone's getting kicked out, it would be me for slandering Jason Aponte at all. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. I believe in most states now, if you can, it doesn't matter what your age is, you could get a vaccine. So if you're in a position or in the belief that you want to get a vaccine, go ahead and do so. Take care of yourself. I would love to see all of your beautiful faces next year at Levi Stadium, because I will certainly be there. And while we discuss pick 3, I know if a certain quarterback is starting, Nate will also be there at Levi's. Jason, for sure. Jason's definitely going to get season tickets somehow while being in New Jersey. But welcome everybody.
That's a lot of money to spend.
And that sounds like a plan that I need to get the details of, because I don't know how I'm going to do that.
I'll be at the home opener no matter what. I know that.
Yeah, me too. Sure. Me too, for sure. Me too.
So let's get into the first topic, to where there was let me look at the name here. I wrote down the guy's name because I never heard of him before. Cecil Lemmy. He's a Denver Broncos guy.
Oh, fake news.
And yeah. I saw you kind of quote tweeted him calling it fake news, to where the Jets turned down a first round pick from the 49ers due to concerns with Zach Wilson's shoulder history. Jason, were you standing on this? Because no disrespect to Cecil, I don't know who he is. I'm sure he's a wonderful guy. I'm sure he's someone I would love to have beers with. But it sounds a little fishy to me. What's your take on that?
So I don't know which part to be more fishy about, the fact that the 49ers offered a first round pick, which I don't believe, or the Jets turning down a first round pick, which I don't believe, which makes this entire report nuts. So I don't know if it was 12. I don't know if it was a 2022, 2023 pick. But if the Jets and the 49ers were talking about a first round pick and the Jets said no, shame on them. Absolutely. That's what makes this whole report bogus. For me to believe that 12 or another first round pick was on the table for Sam Darnold, and then you turn around and trade him to Carolina for a second and a sixth or whatever, I call BS on this entire report. It kind of got debunked by Dov Kleeman. I think that's his name. Also, it just, none of that makes any sense. None of that is anything near logical. And that's why it doesn't matter. You don't have to put the tinfoil hat like me to read right through that and say that that's complete BS, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, if they were settling for what was it, a second and a fourth, you said, Jason, there's no way anyone ever offered them a first. And why would you offer a first for Sam Darnold when you have Jimmy Garoppolo? It just doesn't make sense. We all know how I feel about Jimmy Garoppolo, but if Jimmy Garoppolo's on the team, you shouldn't be offering a first round pick for Sam Darnold when they didn't even offer a first round pick for, Stafford, until things got towards the end where it became a first round pick. It was always, supposed to be a second round pick. That's what it was always talked about with Stafford. And then you get to Darnold and they're like, oh, well, they offered a first round pick. No, they didn't. There's no way they offered a first round pick for Sam Darnold when Stafford is a much better player, even if he is older.
Right. So this is my belief on it, is from what I've heard, that first round pick was never offered. But then I also dissect the tweet. We all do. We all want to get galaxy brain and dissect little tweets. One, Zach Wilson played all season. Yeah, I would still be concerned about the shoulder, but I seen him play last year, putting down his same shoulder that he had surgery on into a defender trying to run him over. The guy looks healthy. There was no setback when he was playing last season. 2, why wouldn't you just take that first round pick and draft Justin Fields if there was something medical with the shoulder? Now you get Justin Fields, you get the 49ers at 12, and then you get the Seahawks in the 20s. That's obviously, like you said, Jason, shame on the Jets if that was true, but it's absolutely not. it's pretty bogus that it got some attention or that's what happens when you get a blue check mark. Someone's going to feed you fake stories, and then people believe. Don't worry, the 49ers front office, they aren't making that type of move, and if they were, it's obviously not going to be for a guy like Sam Darnold. Like Nate said, they didn't even want to offer a first-round pick for Matthew Stafford for the longest. And then right off the bat, early into the process, they offered one to Sam Darnold. No, get out of here, as Jay would say.
That's not how I said it, but yes, that's what I would say probably.
well, I kept the cursing at a minimum.
I mean, we can't curse. We can't curse.
Yeah,
we trying to get that.
It's a family show.
Money. It is a family show, but also, just so we don't just jump off the bridge with the family show thing. We want to get money and monetize, so let's keep it clean.
We don't swear on Nathan either, so you're good.
Yeah, we get blurped out. We're kind of used to it. On the second, I don't want to get too much into Mac Jones. I don't want to bore people. I don't want to discuss it. All I want to just bring up is, are the rumors finally dead? We saw Justin Fields' second pro day. The guy killed it again. The man who barely smiles in Kyle Shanahan, barely shows you any type of emotion at anything. It's going to be a happy emotion. Barely shows you that. At any point, the only time I've seen a big smile out of Kyle Shanahan was when they got the NFC Championship trophy. That's the last time I seen him smile that big, until it was Justin Fields' pro day, and just seeing how Justin Fields made those passes look so easy, as they should when you're wearing shorts and a t-shirt with Casper defending. Mac Jones didn't make it look so easy. We didn't see a smile out of Kyle Shanahan. We actually saw a head nod, a no. Can we finally put this to bed? Like, are the Mac Jones rumors at the big wigs, national media trying to stir up the pot to get clicks, to meet quota with views? Is it dead now?
It has to be, right? Like, there's just no point in even talking about it anymore. Like, I understand, like, they're trying to get clicks, but when you watch you've watched the videos and you watch anything that shows Shanahan next to Justin Fields, like, you don't interact with a guy who you're going to take Mac Jones over, right? Like, and there's also questions with Mac Jones that people aren't talking about. Albright put out a tweet yesterday that said that teams are going to have to look into maybe a little more with Mac Jones than is outwardly facing. And so that's the thing, is like, what's that? I don't know. It just seems like there was, like, a lot of us, like me and you specifically, we have never bought into this Mac Jones thing. I've never bought into it. I think that it was always for clicks. And now when you look at it and you look at the way that Kyle interacts with Justin Fields, like, the joke yesterday was like, we've never seen Jimmy Garoppolo interact with Kyle Shanahan that way. And it's kind of true. Like, yes, there are pictures of him like smiling next to him, but like the way that they were talking and the body language, I don't feel like we've ever seen Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo interact that way. And so, like, how can you be thought of as an NFL draft expert, go on TV the next day and be like, 49ers are taking Mac Jones? Doesn't matter what happened over there. Doesn't matter what we saw. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. And it comes back all the way around to the thing that Javi said at the beginning of this, and everyone has said, everyone's kind of followed suit now. It never made sense. Mac Jones literally never made sense for the 49ers at 3. It made sense at 12. Maybe it made sense to trade back and get him at 15, but at 3, it just literally never made sense. And so it should die. Will it die? I don't think it's going to die until someone trades to 4.
Honestly, we can talk about generating clicks and everything, and we've been talking about that as well too. But the other thing that you have to keep in mind is that these national media members are speculating. They have not gotten anything from any reliable source. I don't care. Adam Schefter, Mel Kiper, none of you guys have any idea. Let's just put that to bed. So any sort of rumor isn't a rumor. It's something that was an article, and people who, 1 minute tell you, Mel Kiper goes on this rant about, well, you got to project Justin Fields and blah, blah, blah. And then the next day, the next week or so, Mac Jones is the pick at 3. I can't keep up with the flip-flopping, okay? Look, my thing is none of this stuff ever came from the building. Everyone was assuming that Mac Jones was the pick because everyone believes that Kyle Shanahan's favorite quarterback in the world is Kirk Cousins. No. What if he just really likes Kirk Cousins, but that's not his ideal quarterback? What if he really likes what Kirk does, but it doesn't mean that if you built a quarterback in the lab for Kyle Shanahan, it would be Kirk Cousins? What don't people understand about that? So when these national guys go ahead and peg Mac there, it's based on the idea that they still are under this narrative that Kyle Shanahan wants Kirk Cousins or a Kirk Cousins-like quarterback in his system, which isn't true. Again, you got that from nobody in the building. 4 people know. Nobody else knows, not the janitor, not the quarterback coach, none of those guys know. None of them know, okay? So stop telling me you have sources. And it's the same thing about now, there's buzz about Justin Fields. Oh, really? Is there now? I'll tell you this. You're not getting that from anywhere in the building. You aren't. No one's telling you that. So now you have seen a pro day and you're just like, oh, look, now there's buzz. No, there isn't. There's not buzz. There's no rumors. They have their guy. You don't know. And you'll find out on the 29th. Is the Mac Jones rumors dead? No, because ESPN's going to keep pounding the table for ratings. And there's maybe 3 or 4 guys that are actually on that platform that wholeheartedly disagree with it, and the ones who actually think for themselves. And you can tell the people who have to peddle the Mac Jones propaganda are getting tired of defending it because they don't even believe it. So are the rumors dead? Nope. But they're not. They were never rumors to begin with. That was just people making stuff up. I can make up a rumor too. I can make up a rumor that Russell Wilson is going to be traded for Pat Mahomes, and cool, it's a rumor now. No, that's not how this works. That's not a rumor. You are speculating. Even with this pro day that Justin Fields just had, you're still speculating. Even if I believe it's the pick, you are still speculating, and it's nothing more than speculation. It's not a rumor. The words are 2 different things. Tired of it, bro. Tired of it.
So, as much as I want to say yes, the rumors are dead, Jason just convinced me no, they're not, because we have 13 days left until the pick is in. And there's going to be a lot of people that cold-heartedly believe Mac Jones is still the pick. The reason why people believe that is because they look at Kyle Shanahan's trend. He's had pocket passers. He's not very mobile passers. His love is Kirk Cousins, whom Jones compared to quite a bit. But nobody knows the pick. So nobody knows the pick. A lot of these guys at the bigger networks are going to say who they think Kyle Shanahan's prototype is. That's why I think it's so key what Louis Riddick said. We need to stop telling Kyle Shanahan what fits his offense. They're going to draft who Kyle Shanahan believes fits his offense and believes can elevate his offense. To me, that's not Mac Jones. Mac Jones can fit it, but he doesn't elevate it. So someone just walked into the liquor store.
No, that's the stupid alarm here at work. Sorry.
It's fine. So yeah, to me, they're dead. But are we going to stop hearing about it? Absolutely not. We got a donation here. Thank you. Not the Kyle you are thinking of. Great name.
Damn it.
Do you think drafting a mobile quarterback will help the team as whole? Practicing against one day in, day out will improve your D's biggest weakness? That's a great question. Jay, if you want to touch on that first.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing again, and I've said this plenty of times. When we don't be mobile like Lamar Jackson. That's the thing too. And advocating for Justin Fields isn't advocating for someone who's mobile because he's a pocket passer. You just need someone who can extend the play a little bit. It just really helps that Justin Fields runs a 4.4. The 4.4 is not what's got me excited. The pocket passing is what's got me excited, with the idea that you can do that. I don't want my quarterback running downfield taking hits. I don't want that. I want him to throw from the pocket, and if he needs to, move the pocket, but stay behind the line of scrimmage and make sure that you keep yourself out of harm's way. So a mobile quarterback, in those terms, that's not what you're looking for. You're just looking for a guy who can extend the play and also bail Kyle Shanahan out when something goes wrong. When, someone on the line misses a block, you can spin off of him, get out, and still find somebody. There's not a quarterback on this roster that can do that. And when you say mobile, I think it's more about elusive and being mobile in the pocket more than it's a straight up Lamar Jackson, straight down the field, which I'm not knocking him. That's just what he does. But that's not what the 49ers need.
Yeah. I mean, exactly what Jason said. That's the thing, is like, we've watched Russell Wilson all these years, right? And so Russell Wilson, Like when we first started, yeah, he ran the ball a lot, but their primary focus with Russell Wilson was not always to do that. Russell Wilson, if you notice, when he does run, it's when the play breaks down or his offensive line breaks down and he scrambles and gets a first down. Like that's super needed in the current NFL. But Russell Wilson is the greatest, not the greatest, but is probably one of the greatest deep passers in the history of the NFL. That deep ball is insane. And Justin Fields has even some semblance of that with the pocket presence, with, what we saw from him in college. That offensive line he had, like, anyone who says to you that Ohio State's offensive line was good, they aren't watching the film. They aren't paying attention, because the Ohio State offensive line sucks. And he was able to make plays despite that. And that's what you want. And that's the thing, is Russell Wilson makes plays despite that. And I'm not saying he's going to be exactly Russell, but that's kind of the idea of what Russell Wilson is. He's shorter, so he has to get outside the pocket, but he throws the ball. He knows how to throw the ball, and he knows how to get people, in an offensive scheme that is not very good. Like, let's be honest here. The Seahawks aren't scheming people wide open like we are. And so you bring in a guy like Justin Fields, who is able to get the ball down the field, make plays outside the pocket, scramble for 10 yards. It's just the perfect situation. And then to the other part of that question, everyone said last year the 49ers struggle with mobile quarterbacks, and so they bring in guys, and they brought in who's the quarterback on the roster right now? Josh Johnson, specifically so they could get better at that. And then having that and dealing with that every day, it'll make them a better football team, I think, in the end. But I think that you saw improvement over the course of the season because they learned that was a weakness. And I think that every team has that weakness. Like Josh Allen killed them because he did stuff the 49ers can't do.
He extended the play outside of the pocket, and he made throws down the field. It wasn't like Josh Allen was ripping us up with rushing yards. And then that's another thing that points to the philosophical change of Kyle Shanahan. Listen to his press conference after, or listen to his press conferences on the week leading up. The man was heaping praise on Josh Allen, and we know that he was big on Josh Allen. What makes you believe in any way that his comments towards Josh Allen means that Mac Jones is the guy that he traded up to 3 for? Come on, guys.
And so as far as like helping the defense's biggest weakness, how I look at it, at the end of the day, when you're playing a quarterback that could pick up a 39 with his legs or pick up a 39 with his arms, it's going to be every defense's biggest weakness. There's going to be times where the 49ers shut it down and don't let the quarterback get contained. And there's going to be times where the quarterback gets outside and picks up the first down with his legs. Getting Justin Fields, can it improve? Absolutely. When you're talking about Richie James being the scout quarterback, running around, but can't throw for crap. Yet Kyler Murray he got an arm. Russell Wilson, he got an arm. You're preparing for Mahomes, he got an arm. You're preparing for Josh Allen, he has an arm. Richie James don't got that. So if you give the defense the ability to face, Justin Fields a bit in scout team, that's going to help. That's going to help a lot because now you have someone that has 4.4 speed and has a very accurate arm compared to, like, no offense to Richie James or anything. He's just not a quarterback. He's a wide receiver. I believe it can absolutely help. And I think that's why they added Mike Johnson. Only that Josh Johnson has learned the playbook before, but also he does provide little more athleticism than they had on the roster or what was else available on the market.
Yeah, and that's a good point about not being able to throw and things like that. And that's another thing too, because Kyler Murray gets mistaken for being, a runner. He doesn't run until Cliff Kingsbury draws up a stupid play that nobody's open on. It's not him just taking the ball and just running. I'm sorry, I had to get my Cliff Kingsbury slander in there.
I can't with you.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, it's people make it seem like Kyler is just looking to run. Kyler runs when no one's open, and that's primarily because his coach is awful at play calling. But that's a whole other story for another day. So you can't make it seem like he's just straight up mobile, So it's the thing is like he knows that when to pick his spots. The other thing that Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray do, which I think you should just take their tape and teach it to quarterbacks. Sliding, not taking hits. I've never seen Kyler Murray take a hit unless it's been inside the pocket and someone just didn't see it coming. And, I don't know, man. It's not the same exact thing. So it's hard to quantify mobile, right? Because Carson Wentz even last year, he's not super mobile, but they had trouble with the RPO, and it led to like a touchdown, and that's the stuff, right? So it's like any sort of semblance of a running quarterback the 49ers have trouble with, but I wouldn't quantify and say that Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson are mobile quarterbacks. They just move when the pocket's gone. So he wants to win Hot Boy Summer, not the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's true.
Jordan's comment.
Everybody want to win Hot Boy Summer. I want to win Hot Boy Summer and the Super Bowl.
Oh,
can I have both?
Can
I have both?
I think I'm good with just the Super Bowl.
Nate, get out of here with your negativity, man. It's getting close. It's April 16th. Hot Boy Summer is upon us, bro.
Yeah, sorry, Nate. I mute for that comment. So let's go with Trey Lance. Nate, in your belief, could Trey Lance's second pro day, I said chance anything, I meant change anything, because a lot of us, I'm a believer in Justin Fields, and I believe that he's going to be the pick, just based on connecting dots and conversations. Do you think Trey Lance, because it should be talked about, Trey Lance is a hell of a prospect. He's a hell of a talent. And I don't want it to sound like he's not my preference, but I don't want us to sound like we're Allen Iverson and then Ty Lue, we're just stepping over him, because Trey Lance is a better prospect to be stepped over, similar to, we can step over Mac Jones all we want. I think he could be a good quarterback in the right system in the NFL, in the right place. But Trey Lance, he has the ability to overcome bad situations to propel his team. I really do believe he has those abilities. So do you think he could change anything as far as like maybe the 49ers decision making, maybe 49ers Twitter thought process, just anybody? Do you think if he balls out the second pro day, we have similar viral videos and photo clips of Shanahan just looking like he's in love? Do you think that could change a lot of people's thought process?
I think Jason's going to have a better answer for this question because he knows more about Trey Lance than I do. I've obviously, like, most of my Trey Lance stuff has been like bringing people on my show, the show we do together, Leo, and like talking to them about him and learning more about him. And I've watched a little bit of film, but I mean, obviously, like, there's only so much you can watch. He only played one season. And so the thing about Trey Lance that's really interesting is, like, a lot of people believe that his upside is actually higher than Fields long term, which, very well could be that way. But with the Fields thing, it just feels like it's a match made in heaven for the 49ers. It feels like, while I think that this thing that where people believe that a rookie quarterback can't start no matter who it is, Fields is not.
I agree with that. But I agree with that, though. I agree with that take, and I'll get to it when it's my time. Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, you're good. No, I just don't think Fields is going to the Jets. I saw it pop up. Anyways, made me lose my train of thought. But so the thing about Fields is, like, it's a match made in heaven, and then you talk about how quarterbacks should start. The thing about Lance that scares me, and while I do agree with you, Jason, that you said on Twitter that Lance, Fields, Wilson, whoever it is, should start, right? But the thing with Lance that scares me is, there are going to be a lot more mistakes, things that 49ers Twitter is going to not be kind to Lance on, I think, if he's the pick, because they'll start him. And I think that he is more, not, the word, people use this word that he's a project. And I think that I believe that in some ways, and I believe that in some other ways. I think he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo right now. I think that his talent and his athleticism and everything he can do is better. His upside is huge. But right now, I think he comes into this season, and I think that they're a worse football team this year than they would be with Fields this year. And I think that they will, in long term, I think they might even be better because Lance has some high upside. But the thing with Fields is I just think he is, like, in any other draft, he's the best quarterback in the draft. And I think Shanahan kind of knows it at this point. And I think he knows he got lucky to get to 3. And the fact that this Wilson and Lawrence thing is going on, it just feels like Fields should be the pick. But I wouldn't be surprised if something happened. And, Javi said it best. He sent John Beck to Lance specifically so that he could learn about Lance because he felt he didn't know enough about him. And so there's always a chance that Monday changes his mind and Lance ends up being the pick. But I'm pretty sure, like, at this point, I'm 90% sure it's Fields.
So as far as what Trey Lance could do in the second pro day that would change anything, I don't know. See, the thing is you can't get wrapped up in pro days. Pro days shouldn't be the thing that swing you. You know, it should just confirm what you know already on tape. Okay, you shouldn't go to a pro day and watch him throw against air and say, "Oh my God, I didn't know." No, you go there, and you confirm what you've already believed is on film, right? So here's the thing. Here's why it's either Trey or it's Fields. You know, one more thing about Mac Jones is that when they went to the pro day, they didn't put him in any sort of Shanahan concept or anything like that, right? They made Justin Fields go through 9 things that Shanahan wanted to see, and from all accounts, everything went well. And you can expect the same for Trey Lance, right? Here's the thing. If I believe that they have the pick already, right, which I do, and many do, what can Trey Lance really do that will change? I don't know. I think they just want to see what he can do with that. And then they'll make whatever decision. But I don't know if you can change anything from pro days. I really don't. You know, and I applaud this front office for doing their due diligence and going to see Mac and going to see Lance and going to see Jones. Like, I don't care. Like, go see all of them. Go see them all. Throw everybody off the scent. Make sure that you go and you have somebody. 49ers Twitter will give Lance and Kyle time.
I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that at all. 49ers Twitter is brutal.
I think that's opposite. So 49ers Twitter would give Lance and Fields all the time possible. Mac Jones gets picked, and now you're on the clock because now you have picked somebody who you believe is going to be able to do what the current quarterback can't do, and is take you over the edge. So your clock starts immediately when Mac gets picked. Your clock doesn't start immediately with Lance or Fields. Absolutely not. I think that's completely opposite because Mac Jones is the arrogant pick, as John Middlecoff has said. That's a pick. I'm proving that I'm smarter than you. That I'm smartest dude in the room type thing. So the thing is with this Trey Lance second pro day, he doesn't have a chance to change anything. He can just confirm what they want. And if that's the case, then it goes into their evaluation process. I just want to dispel this narrative about pro days being the reason that guys are rising up boards because that's silly. It really is silly. You know, I mean, for as bad as, you know, for as much as Mac struggled, that didn't really tell you anything that you didn't already know on the tape, you know? So, like, that's the thing, man. It's just hard for me to say that a pro day is going to be the reason that one guy falls or rises. And I just think that
it's didn't get a combine, you know?
It right. Really and that's the thing. So, and I just feel like it's boiled down to Lance and Fields. And that was a good point about if Fields is 2, I don't think Wilson's the pick. I think it's Lance. I really do. And not because I don't want Zach. That's not my opinion. I just think that's how this front office views the both of them.
Yeah. Same thing with what Jason said. It's similar to what I say. Pro day isn't going to change the pick. It's not going to raise someone's stock within an organization, but it can hurt it. It could take your name out of the conversation. And I think, like, I'm not a Davis Mills fan. I'm not. In my draft process, when I watch him on film, I look at his pro day. The guy was amazing. Mm-hmm. He was, throwing bullets downfield in the rain. Does that make myself like him anymore? No, because the guy's a Division I former 5-star quarterback. If he can't make those throws in shorts and a t-shirt against no defense, then there's some trouble there. And like with Mac Jones pro day, not be able to make those throws against no defense in shorts and a t-shirt in front of Kyle Shanahan.
Or hit the trouble roof. There. Hit the roof with one of your throws. Hit the roof. Like the dude was pressured. He felt the pressure and he didn't perform. That's concerning. I will say with Trey Lance, I know there's like a narrative. He did a lot of stuff pre-snap, which is great. I think it's true. But I think there is scenarios to where it's not going to formulate the same in the NFL. No.
In the FCS, they're not going to show you exotic looks. They're not going to play with brain games with you and show you a look pre-snap.
The State Penguins. Come on, man.
And they're not going to show you something pre-snap and then get out of it as soon as that ball snapped. They don't do that in the FCS. It's kind of what you see is what you get. So I think Trey Lance is a very mentally, intentionally excelled quarterback when it comes to his processing pre-snap, but it's going to be a whole different beast when he gets to the NFL because they're going to show you those looks that you've never seen in a game before. That's why I believe he should sit behind a starting quarterback. And when I look at the 49ers, I don't know if Jimmy's going to be there week 1. I don't know. And if Jimmy's not, and you take Trey Lance, there's going to be some growing concerns as far as like pre-snap diagnosis, and then all of a sudden the balls get snapped and your receivers aren't 15 yards open like it was at North Dakota State. There's going to be a lot more tight window throws. Do I think he could be a hell of a quarterback? Absolutely. Would I be mad if they draft him? No. Would I be surprised? Yes. Does his pro day change anything within my thought of what the organization is going to go with? Probably not. I hope he has a great pro day. I hope he kills it, because I think the kid could be special at the next level.
The other. Okay, bro.
Go for it, Jason. You're good.
No, so real quick, another thing, the pre-snap acumen, that's there, honestly. And he runs a pro-style offense in so many Shanahan concepts. So I see that. See, that's what gets me upset, right? Mac Jones is a fit because, his decision-making, anticipatory throws, guys are wide open. Dude, Trey Lance runs this.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
Mahomes had a year to sit behind Alex Smith and learn. So, yeah, like I said, I think what Trey Lance showed mentally can translate to the NFL, but it's going to take time. Like Mahomes had a whole year.
Mahomes took 2 years. Keep in mind, like, yes, he did win the MVP, but there was an interview with Mahomes shortly before the Super Bowl, before that playoffs for the Super Bowl.
When he realized that he knew how to read defenses.
I finally understand NFL defenses, so don't get it twisted. Like, what you're going to see from the Los Angeles Rams and what you're going to see from Jackson State Penguins are very different things, and it's going to take either of these guys. It's going to take Justin Fields, who did see Clemson, but it's still going to take him time. And Lance is just going to take longer because, we don't like to say grade the school, but like Lance, the talent that Lance went against was not top tier talent. Like, let's be honest here. Jackson State Penguins, I didn't even know they were called the Penguins until I heard a podcast say they're the Penguins. So that's the thing is, it's hard to learn defenses. Our own quarterback right now can't read defenses, and so these guys underneath the fender.
Right, go ahead, Jason. Sorry to cut you off.
Sorry, Jason.
No, you're good. So look, I mean, again, this. So there's concerns with Trey, right? So it's competition, it's lack of throws, right? He only played 1 game last year. That's fine. Those are all things, right? So I love Trey. Ideally, I would love for Trey to sit. I don't feel that way about Justin Fields. I don't feel that way about Zach Wilson. I don't feel that way about anybody else. Like with Trey, yes, he can be successful in year 1. That's cool. But best bet for me is I would love to see him sit just to learn a little bit more. And look, all those concepts, they run leak. They run RPO bootlegs. They run play action. Guys are running wide open. Sounds a lot like a guy that we have on our roster right now and a scheme that works that way. Guys are running wide open. You just got to be able to see them and hit them down the field. So, it's a little bit overblown about, how – all right, so I understand the offense is hard to grasp, and it's verbiage more than anything. You can run those same concepts, but the verbiage changes when you get up there. And, we have a chance to get our hands on the install. Dude, these play calls, 22XY, V slot, like it's like 10 words long, right? And now talk about 2-minute warning, right? Or 2-minute drill. You got to call 2 and 3 plays, and you got to be able to check those at the line, and you got to be able to yell those things out. It's a lot. It's less about the concepts that are complicated and more the verbiage. So I just wanted to make sure that was out there. So while Lance runs all those same concepts, it's not the same because of the verbiage, and that's the only thing that he'd really have to learn. So I really don't have those sort of concerns, but there are concerns. Every quarterback has concerns, though. Everyone. Nobody is bulletproof. That's the other thing. But one thing for one guy is a negative, but it's not for the other. Trey Lance had only played 1 year. Okay. Zach Wilson's only had 1 good year. Okay. Why is it one concern for right? Why is it one concern for one guy, but it's a pass for another guy? Also, Zach Wilson's been throwing from clean pockets. This man didn't have anywhere near him at any point. And I understand he didn't have receivers or anything like that, but you cannot just overlook that sort of stuff with Zach Wilson as well. So again, the competition changes. Okay. Zach Wilson, who was he really playing?
Yeah,
right. And that's my thing. It's just, again, if you have a concern for one, keep it across the board for all of them, because that is a concern for all of them.
Real quick, I have a question for you, Jason. I was thinking before we get to this question.
Yeah.
Does it concern you at all, like, say they draft Trey and he has to sit for another year? He sits for 2 straight years. What do you think of that? Like, what is the concern for you there? I've been kind of curious because I've heard a lot of people talk about it on a lot of podcasts this week.
With Trey sitting for 2 years?
Yeah, because he would be sitting last year or the previous year, and he would be sitting this year. Yeah.
Right. I see what you're saying. So, so he only played 1 game because of COVID. And remember, I don't know if anybody remembers how that week went because plenty of people come to me and they say he struggled in that game. Okay, let me ask you something. You're a professional, right? You haven't practiced all year. You wake up on a Tuesday and they tell you got a game on Saturday. Are you supposed to be like firing bullets immediately? That feels like the first preseason game, or anything like but people want to throw that in my face about it. Okay, but I've heard coaches, we heard Matt Rule at Mobile say, I don't know how these guys do it when it comes to not playing football and how it can not affect them. Again, people are more interested in their narrative than they are what's right there in their face as far as the facts. So yes, it's a concern because he hasn't played, but the kid works hard. And if he goes and he brings himself to OTAs and everything, I don't have a problem with it. I don't see why you would think that, because he's been away so long, he wouldn't be successful. Remember, the coach schemes guys open every single play. It's all about the quarterback scheme.
And it's all about the quarterback. It's all about the quarterback mentality. It's all about the quarterback work ethic. While he's not playing, is he studying film? Is he studying defenses? Is he studying his own offense? What is he doing while he's not playing? I think that's a big factor. When you look at Aaron Rodgers, he sat more than 2 years. When he played, he was perfectly fine. Steve Young sat for more than 2 years. When he played, yeah, he struggled a little bit, but he ended up with the Hall of Fame MVP and Super Bowl winning career.
In Tampa. Remember, he struggled in Tampa.
So it's like I dismiss it based on the quarterback's work ethic. And from everything I hear about Trey Lance, I think he has the work ethic to have, come right in after 2 years of not starting in a game and play at a high level. He doesn't concern me in that category compared to maybe somebody else. Now, I wanted to jump into the next topic here because someone commented it, and Jason wanted to talk about this first. Jimmy still gives the 49ers the best chance to win healthy versus a rookie. We just have to pray he stays healthy, and if he doesn't, then you throw in the rookie. So I want you to answer this, Jason. Does a rookie, since it's the elephant in the room, a rookie has never won a Super Bowl. Does a rookie change that narrative? And why? I know your answer, so I'm going to say, why would a rookie change that narrative for this San Francisco 49ers football team?
2 things before I start. Your second sentence is all you need to know. You have to pray that he's healthy. Okay? That's all you need to know. You said it right there. You answer your own question. Okay? 2, are we certain that this team should be talking about Super Bowl this year? Are we certain? Hear me out. I said today, quarterbacks who get drafted in the top 5 usually go to a bad team. The 49ers are not a bad team. They're a top 5 roster. Okay? But can you literally look me in the eye and say, if Jimmy Garoppolo is healthy, that this team is going to win a Super Bowl? How can you look me in the eye and tell me that? Let's go through the facts. This defense is going to be nowhere near 2019. That's a fact. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. And when you play the style of offense that the 49ers play with how Jimmy Garoppolo plays, you don't need a top 10 defense. You don't need a top 5 defense. You need a top 1, 2 defense to choke off everything. Okay? I've seen him win games where, he's had to score points. Cool. You do not want to put him in that position. Okay? Here's my thing. What would be the difference in this team if Jimmy Garoppolo started as opposed to, let's just say, Justin Fields? This is still a 10-win, 11-win team that will make the playoffs and probably win a playoff game or 2. The idea that this team is ready for a Super Bowl run is the part that gets me a little bit when it comes to 49ers fans. I understand. The NFC isn't really that tough. Seattle can be beat. Nobody's scared of Green Bay. The East is garbage. The Saints are done. Who exactly are you afraid of? But to heap Super Bowl aspirations on Jimmy Garoppolo or a rookie quarterback seems misguided. Okay, here's your point. No quarterback is won on a rookie deal or anything, or the rookie year, right? Fact. Ben Roethlisberger won in his second year. Would you be mad if in the second year a rookie quarterback won the Super Bowl? Why is it that it's this year that you have to win the Super Bowl? Why? I don't understand the thought process. Don't you want to move in the correct direction towards the Super Bowl? Why is it immediately Super Bowl? You are setting yourself up for a large disappointment, whether Jimmy Garoppolo is the quarterback or Justin Fields is the quarterback. That's all I want to say. It should be playing the long game. Why is everyone enamored with winning a Super Bowl now? The point of having the rookie quarterback is being able to open that window for 3, 4, 5 years before you have to pay him. I don't understand why people think this team is automatically Super Bowl bound just because the injuries that happened last year probably won't happen this year because it was a complete outlier. But for me, that feels like you are overvaluing what you think this team can be. This team is still a 10-11 win out of 17 games team who will make the playoffs for sure, as long as nothing bad happens. But a Super Bowl, I don't know about that one, man. And I think 49er fans really need to pull back on that expectation because you're setting yourself up for failure. Do you want to win 2 and 3 Super Bowls or 1 and then not have that, and then not have that flexibility down the line? I think you make your choice.
The whole Super Bowl thing comes from all the one-year contracts, and I think that maybe that's a little bit weird because there's so many one-year contracts, and like people are like, well, we won't gonna have these guys after this year. But the thing is, like, once Garoppolo's gone, that cap is gonna go up, and they're gonna have all that Garoppolo money because they're spending nothing on a quarterback. So I'm right there with you. But me and Javi had this conversation yesterday, and I asked him a question. I'm gonna ask both of you this question real quick. If the 49ers had Justin Herbert last year without the injuries, where do you think they end up in relation to the playoff picture with Justin Fields, or not Justin Fields, I'm sorry, Justin Herbert on that roster?
Without injuries, they probably could win the NFC because the Bucs were a little streaky. Look how they won the NFC Championship game. Tom Brady threw 3 interceptions in the second half, and if we're talking healthy, the 49ers defense is a hell of a lot better than Green Bay.
And struggled mightily against Taylor Heineke in Washington as well too. People just act like the Bucs rolled to the Super Bowl. They didn't. And that's the team I probably forgot. That's the team I probably forgot too.
If Herbert is the quarterback of this team, and like obviously we don't know if that's going to be Fields. Like in an ideal world, that's Justin Fields this year, right? And if Justin Herbert was the quarterback of the 49ers last season, they're in the Super Bowl and they probably can beat Kansas City because that's how good Herbert was. So the aspirations of winning the Super Bowl, like, yeah, I get it. It's kind of crazy. Like, yeah, I joke around like San Francisco, Buffalo Super Bowl as like, because it's fun, it's hype, right? But they have been a quarterback away for 2 seasons now. And so now that if Justin Herbert can come in and play close to, I mean, obviously what Herbert did last year was amazing. But do you think that there's any chance that Shanahan does not get the best out of him where they could have a quarterback that's that good year one? And that's where the Super Bowl aspirations come because we do know how good the head coach is. We know how good the team is. And the defense doesn't have to be perfect when your quarterback is that good. And I think that Fields could potentially be that good in this system with Kyle Shanahan. The familiarity, the team is good. Like, I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is a really good football team. And with a really good quarterback, the sky is the limit.
Yeah, but again, it all boils back because the question was, Jimmy healthy gets you back to a Super Bowl. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. I never did that. Yeah. No, it's not about Jimmy though. It's about really realistically looking at everything and all the circumstances. Everybody thinks that 2019 is so easily duplicated. 2019's not coming back. It's not going to happen that way. The circumstances around how the 49ers made the Super Bowl is not going to happen again. It literally lined up as perfect as possible. Go ahead, Leo. My bad.
Yeah. I was going to say, so Nate isn't talking about getting Justin Herbert. He's talking about getting Justin Fields to play at the level Justin Herbert played last season as a rookie. That Chargers team was terrible in their own right. It had nothing to do with the quarterback's play.
Awful. And the thing is, and it's like with that Chargers team, real quick, like their defense was awful, like minus Bosa, and their offense was poorly, just like the play calling was bad. Like Herbert did it all on his damn self. And if you think that Fields isn't coming in with a chip on his shoulder because Trevor Lawrence went above him, where he could do what Herbert did, because Herbert was pissed. Herbert was mad as hell that Joe Burrow and Tua Tagovailoa went ahead of him. You don't think that Justin Fields is coming into the league with that kind of chip? You're crazy.
Thank you, John Oliver's creepy uncle. Exactly. Who could have lined up the fact that the Vikings were going to beat the Saints and they didn't have to go, and then when the Vikings come in, look, I like to be a realist. The Vikings had no chance to beat the 49ers, regardless of what you think about the quarterback. They had no shot. And then when the Packers come out on the other side, they had no shot. No one in their right mind believed that the Packers ever could beat the 49ers. They had already whipped them into oblivion the first time, and it was even easier the second time. That's not going to happen again. You are not going to have those set of circumstances around your Super Bowl run again. That's what makes 2019 so different from every other 49ers year. And I hate to break it to you guys, you had to win the ball when you were there because you don't know if you're ever going to have it line up as perfect as possible. I didn't want to get sad here, but that's always been my point about 2019. 2019 cannot be duplicated. It can't. It's almost impossible.
That's why you go get a real quarterback who can play high quality at a high level, and you can win with a high level quarterback, and your defense doesn't have to be top freaking one. It's just ridiculous that your defense has to be top one for a quarterback to win. And everyone says that quarterback's the reason we won. Jimmy Garoppolo is not the reason we won in 2019. You went to any of those games and you saw a defense that literally took it out of another team. They did not want to play that team by the end of the third quarter.
Don't want to get too off topic here.
Sorry.
So to answer the question, a rookie starting concerns, I wouldn't say so, because my guy's Justin Fields. So I'm going to use Justin Fields as an example. You're giving Justin Fields, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson Jr. with an offensive line that we all believe on paper should be really well this year. I think Alex Mack being there at center is going to help out the communication a ton to where they're not having miscommunications on stunts and guys are running freely in and there's an offensive lineman blocking nobody. And then with Kyle Shanahan calling plays, Mike McDaniel calling the run games, Kyle Juszczyk, he's an offensive weapon. I didn't even mention him. So you have those guys that for Justin Fields to be available to use to his advantage. And then what does Justin Fields not give you that Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard does? Nothing. Why did I bring up those two names? Because Nick Mullins beat the Rams and CJ Beathard beat the Cardinals.
So let me get.
No, go ahead.
And CJ Beathard should have beat the Seahawks. Let's be honest here. They should have won that game too.
Let me take the other side of the argument on this. Remember, we talk about this all the time. How many games would the 49ers have won if they would have just turned the ball over twice instead of 4 times?
Right.
Seriously. And Justin Fields isn't known to be a turnover machine. That's not his thing. Even if college, there's guys in college who, never throw interceptions and then all of a sudden the game comes up here. I just don't see Justin Fields being like that. But what's funny? Everybody wants to talk about learning the playbook. Who knew the playbook better than Nick Mullins? Computer. Who cares? The guy can't play. I don't care if you know the playbook. What matters? Sometimes backyard football wins. Don't tell me about smarts if you can't make the throws. I don't want to hear that anymore. I'm tired of that about the rookie starting concerns. Nick Mullins knows his playbook, and Kyle Shanahan literally was like, he's a robot, a computer. I love him. Smartest guy in the QB room, which is also a shot at Jimmy Garoppolo. Smartest guy in the room, everything. And what? Is he good?
Yeah.
So he knows the playbook in and out. Great. Can he execute it? No. So who cares? That's overrated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I bring up those two quarterbacks, the backup quarterbacks, obviously, since they went 2-1 against the division, like Nate said. The Seahawks game, it was kind of ugly. You can make a case that it's 3-0 if Justin Fields isn't there instead of those two guys. I mentioned those ones specifically because that's the division. If you want to get to the playoffs and advance in the playoffs, you must win your division first. So if those two guys are able to go 2-1, why would I not believe that Justin Fields could win this division? Like Jimmy Garoppolo went 1-2 against this division last year. What does I mentioned? What do those two backup quarterbacks do that Justin Fields can't? Now, what can Jimmy do that Justin Fields can't do? I'm ultimately believing Justin Fields can win a lot of games as a rookie. Like Jason said, this is a top 5 roster in the NFL. Look at the offensive line, good. Look at the weapons, offensive weapons, good. Secondary, I think they can be good. I have them above average. Pass rush, I think it's going to be good. You got Nick Bosa, you have Samson Ebukon, you have potentially D Ford after week 10. I'm not going to put my hopes or put my money.
Oh man, is that the timeline?
That's the timeline from what I hear is after week 10, you have Eric Armstead, you have another year of Kinlaw, Kevin Givens has shown things, DJ Jones, then you got your linebackers Fred Warner, Drake Greenlaw, Aziz Al-Shaair.
And who they add in the draft? What if they add in the draft?
Add in the draft.
Exactly.
What if they add in the draft? This roster is special. That's why I believe there's going to be no difference from Jimmy. Jimmy Garoppolo does not improve your Super Bowl window. He does not improve your Super Bowl chances over a rookie Justin Fields starting. To me, he doesn't. He doesn't. And I got to go with Justin Fields could potentially increase that over Jimmy. I'm not expecting that. Justin Fields starting week 1, I'm expecting playoffs because I believe he's that good, and I believe the roster is good. The 49ers are only in a position to draft him because they traded up to draft him.
They got it 3 because they won 4 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fields
So
great,
I
baby.
appreciate you, Alex. Fields great, baby. I appreciate you, Alex, my guy. We're going to go ahead and jump to the next topic here before we get off rails too much. We kind of done that a little bit already.
I've been yelling too much tonight.
43. No, it's fine. It's fine. Bring that East Coast energy, my boy.
It's all good. Usually I'm the
case
one
for
yelling.
your pick. Make your case for your pick at 43. Also, drop your pick in the comments. Who you want at pick 43. We're talking quarterback way, way, way too much. Let's argue about something else because a lot of you want Trey Lance, a lot of you want Jimmy to start, a lot of you want Fields, and a lot of you want Zach Wilson to fall to 3. Let's not argue about that no more. Let's argue about pick 43, as well as Jaeger 805, my guy. Hope we get Fields, but scare the Jets, take Fields. Trey Lance is also a good option.
Valid concern. Valid concern.
I don't want to. There's a factor I don't really want to talk about on here, but there is a factor with the Jets that I just don't think Fields would ever be the quarterback there.
Just say it. Woody Johnson is an ambassador to Donald Trump, and that whole environment, that's not something that Justin Fields would want to go to. I mean, and just say it. That's it. That's it. You know, so
you took the words right out of my mouth. I just don't see a world in which Fields is a quarterback for the New York Jets when, they have those ties. I just don't see it. Like I think that Wilson makes sense because of that.
Go ahead.
We got some picks coming in. Elijah Moore, a corner, Tyson Campbell. All right, Ian Book.
Who said Ian Book kicked him out?
It's that guy's been a troll. I've been reading the comments. He's just a troll.
Kyle Trask, ETN, or a quarterback.
All right, are we gonna? You said not get off the rails.
Hey, I'm just reading some of the draft picks here.
Hey, let's talk about Najee Harris. Like, I know you don't draft running backs in the second round. Obviously, or you don't draft running back in the first round, rather. You can draft them in the second round. Like, what do you guys really think? Like, if this team had Najee Harris, Raheem Mostert, and Jeff Wilson Jr., like, how nasty would that be?
Well, my pick is going to upset people at 43. Jordan, cover your ears. It's Javonte Williams. Let me explain. My comp for Javonte Williams is Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is one of the top 1, 2, 3 ball carriers in the league. It's like him, Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook. With the ball in his hands, electric. Raheem Mostert has shown that he can't be healthy all the time. Jeff Wilson has shown that he's going to get banged up. We don't even know what Jermichael Hasty can do at this point. I like his potential. Javonte Williams gives you a guy who can tote that thing 15, 16 times and get those tough yards while giving you that upside, while letting Raheem Mostert be that home run hitter. And for the people that say, oh, they don't invest in running backs, allow me to retort. He drafted Tevin Coleman in Atlanta. His father drafted Clinton Portis in Washington. He traded up for Joe Williams. He paid Jerick McKinnon. Stop telling me that all he wants is undrafted free agents when that is absolutely not true. and he bid against no one for Jerick McKinnon. No one was going to give him that money. Nobody. So stop telling me that this organization or Kyle Shanahan does not care about running backs and he doesn't draft them early, because that is nonsense. Now, is it smart? Maybe. But I don't think that Najee's going to be there. I don't think Etienne's going to be there. Najee's going to go in the first, probably to Pittsburgh. Etienne's not going to make it to 43. Javonte's there, and if you want to wait, Michael Carter could be there in the third round, who I love too. The only reason that I want Javonte is because Javonte profiles as that bruising back who gets better as the game goes along. And that's how you close out football games in January. You close it out when you need those throws, but when you're ahead, you got to be able to tote that rock and get those tough yards. So, yes, I think it's Javonte Williams. Cover your ears, people who think that, hey, they never draft running backs. That's not true. They don't pay for running backs. That's not true at all. Just because they hit on undrafted free agents doesn't mean that that's fully their philosophy, because history has shown us otherwise. They offered Lev Bell this massive deal. Why does nobody remember any of this stuff? Why does everybody make it seem like because Matt Breida hit that it's all undrafted free agents? Remember, Kyle didn't sign Raheem Mostert. Chip Kelly did. It's not like he found them. He just got it. He got use out of him. So on top of all these guys not being healthy, Javonte Williams profiles exactly as what this offense needs, and that's one of those guys as well too. So I mean, that's just where I'm at with it. I know that one of your topics is going to be who's your running back guy. Javonte Williams is my running back guy.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you. Like, the thing about Najee is just the Bay Area kid. Like, he was so fun to watch at Alabama, and if he falls, like, I just feel like a guy like that you can't say no to. Like, it just seems like the way that Najee talks, and like I felt like for the longest time they were in Alabama to see Najee, not Mac, because it just didn't make sense for Mac to be on this team. But I think edge rusher would make a lot of sense in the second round as well too. I think that like bolstering that edge rush, they know the reason they got to the Super Bowl in 2019, not to bring up 2019 again, is because of how good that edge rush was. And it would be cool to have like a fun running back, like like you just said, or like Najee, but where your bread is buttered, and it's in pass rush. And if your pass rush is nasty and Justin Fields isn't turning over the ball, you're going to win a lot of football games. So,
yeah, and I mean, I agree. Build from the trenches, right? And that's what I was going to say. I saw that comment from Nick. Honestly, if they want Najee, they've got to trade up, and that is a possibility because Kyle's done that. He's traded up for Brandon Ayuk, for Reuben Foster.
Pettis.
Pettis. They'll trade up. I mean, and you see them go to 3, right? But I just feel like if you're there at 43 and Javonte Williams is there, I don't see how you let that go. I mean, but if you're dead set on Najee, go get it. Go do it. I just think that the 49ers are going to walk away with a starting running back, that is going to be cost control for a while before, if anybody thinks that they're not. I really think they are.
Pick 43. This is a great debate. I believe we could go into pick 43 a lot more than we can with pick 3. This is what I told Nate on the Niners Nation podcast.
Nice plug.
You like it?
Every Tuesday at some time, randomly.
This is what I told Nate. Cornerback. You could definitely go cornerback. But at pick 43, you got to get me a guy who plays valuable snaps. If you draft a cornerback at pick 43, is he going to play this year? Like, I know if they draft Najee's going to get really good playing time. And that's somebody that I like a lot. And I think Kyle Shanahan has to like him a lot as well. This is to keep in mind. Najee Harris, he didn't participate in the first pro day at Alabama. Kyle Shanahan shows up. Now we see Devontae Smith out there. We see Najee Harris out there. A lot of people trying to rub elbows. And I think that a lot of it was to scout Najee Harris. You saw Najee Harris running routes downfield, not just hitting flats.
You also saw him make the best pass of the day. Oh, yeah. Was that not supposed to say that? Was that not supposed to say that? My bad.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know what Jason's talking about, the last play snap at the pro day for Mac Jones, he ran out for a route. It was a tribute to his high school football coach that recently passed away. And Najee Harris threw him the ball like a 15-yard pass into the end zone. So
Good
hey,
body control, got his feet in. I
he
like
could
what I saw
replace
from
the
Mac.
Wildcat that McKinnon, that Jet left voided.
Hey! The door's not closed on Jet coming back, so don't do that.
He closed his own door, I think, on via Instagram live stream.
But he was on his IG wearing his 49er sweater, man. I'm telling you, get the tinfoil hat out, bro. I'm telling you, this is Galaxy Brain time.
With Najee Harris, he's electric in the pass game. I believe it was the national championship or the semis, to where like a lot of people praised Mac Jones because he had the pressure right in his face, but it was actually a great adjustment by Najee Harris to catch that ball. Great adjustment. So he shows adjustment within his route. He's a tough runner. He does not like to go down after first contact, and he has really good vision. And he was kind of stuck in his freshman year there at Alabama. He had some pretty good running backs there. But this guy he's special, and I think he'll be special in a Kyle Shanahan offense where they're able to scheme open those holes with the zone run blocking scheme. I'm all for Najee Harris. If it's not Najee Harris, give me Javonte. If it's not Javonte, give me Travis Etienne. I think a running back could you bring in like, let's be honest. I love Raheem Mostert. I love Jeff Wilson Jr., but they tend to miss at least a game. I hope they don't next season. But if they do, then like who do you have back there? JaMychal Hasty?
I like JaMychal Hasty though.
And this is also what I look at. I do too, but this is also what I look at. After this season, guess what? Raheem Mostert, Raheem Mostert, unrestricted free agent. Jeff Wilson Jr., unrestricted free agent. Your running back room is literally JaMychal Hasty. Get the guy in now. Get him in now and have that guy be Najee Harris, because Najee Harris is a 3-down running back. He could do anything you want in a Kyle Shanahan scheme. He is a really good pass protector. And when we're talking about pass protector, their best one last season was Coleman, Tevin Coleman. Now Coleman's a Jet. Who's going to be their pass blocking back? Najee Harris fits that role instantly.
To be fair, real quick, obviously, like, I'm totally in on Najee, but I just want to put this out for you. Say they are like pick 29, 30, something like that next year, and there aren't like any glaring holes because they were so good. You could go running back like the Chiefs did after they won the Super Bowl and take a running back in the first round if you really wanted to. Just like something to throw out there because, like, you could instead use the second round pick for an edge rusher or cornerback to bolster it now and then go running back next year when you'll need it right away. But just like a thought, because, I love Najee. Like, you got me all in on him on the show this week for sure. But instead, if we're thinking about the fact that they're probably going to be picking 29, 28, 30, I'm not going to say 32. But, the Chiefs went running back after they won the Super Bowl because they could. They knew their roster was a Super Bowl caliber roster. And they were smart with free agents and stuff. And so it's just a thought to think about.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? It's about drafting a guy who's going to be cost control for 4 years and that you can set your watch to. Again, and here's the thing. I like the idea of floating to the next year, but no first-round pick next year. You know that. And, they would have to, probably make a move somewhere in the second round because it'll be low second, from the way that I expect this team to go. But this wouldn't be a bad time. And you don't know what running backs are going to come out next year that are comparable. So, like, again, I'm bigger on what I know than what I can predict.
My bad. So I forgot about the first round pick thing. That was my bad.
No, you're good. Honestly, it's and I want to touch on what you said about the fact that the 49ers have been able to bring basically everybody back and have the roster intact has allowed them this sort of flexibility where the first 3 rounds, cover your ears. It could go quarterback, wide receiver, running back. It could be all offense if you want to do that. It's completely possible. That's what those moves give you is ultimate flexibility to do whatever you want because you're starting to get to the point where it's luxury picks as opposed to just straight up needs. And that's really where I'm at with it.
Because how I look at it is they have 9 draft picks. Are all 9 going to make the roster? So you could go luxury picks here and you on the luxury picks like Najee, who I think is more like obviously not like say bust proof to where he's just gonna go in the NFL and not do well. Like nobody is that when coming into the draft. But I think he can impact this team a whole lot more than a cornerback sitting on the bench. And when you have a rookie quarterback, you want someone who impact the team a whole lot more. Look at Ezekiel Elliott. When he was a rookie, he led the team in rushing with 1,600 yards with a rookie quarterback in Dak Prescott. Having a reliable running back there helps out this offense so much more. And I say reliable because when if Raheem Mostert, God forbid, is the San Francisco's high ankle sprains, like misses a game, this offense is still, built off the run game, play action, and go from there. You add a guy like Najee Harris to where you have a three-headed monster at running back. Who cares about your fantasy football league? Who cares? Because this offense would be lethal if you have those three guys in the backfield. Yep. Now, let's make a case for pick 102. Make a case for your guy, whoever wants to start it off.
I think that's where you can address cornerback. Maybe somebody like Benjamin St-Juste, who's on the 4th and Goal podcast. I like what he offers. Could be edge rusher as well there too. So it realistically, if I just want to get straight up fantasy football, let's get a wide receiver also. The wide receiver 3 position is still open. I don't believe that River Craycraft is the answer. Amari Rodgers could be someone who's there. Diami is not going to be there. I love him. Elijah Moore is really good. Rondell Moore is really good. Like, the ideal thing would be somehow, how do we tank Rashad Bateman's value so he falls to 43? What do we have to do to get Rashad Bateman to fall to 43 for the 49ers to take him? And then you address the running back, in the 3rd round with either, hope Michael Carter's there, who I love also, by the way, just completely dominated while he was in Mobile. But I think here at 102 is where it gets interesting about, hey, do you want to, make sure you get a wide receiver who you can use at number 3? Because when we watched Amari Rodgers was running those sweeps, those jet sweeps. And I was like, oh my God, look at Debo, like literally the same thing. And I love Debo, but he's constantly injured. Another thing, which is why you got to kind of lead wide receiver here too as well. You have to, because you missed out on John Brown. You missed out on Curtis Samuel. Well, not missed out. I guess you just never were in on them. But you have to replenish this wide receiver room as well, too, because unfortunately for most position groups on this team, injuries are going to be the biggest concern. So wide receiver, edge, cornerback, one of those cases can be made. Tremble, too. Tommy Tremble. I mean, that's another good one, honestly. But again, you're only available to have this sort of flexibility because of who you brought back and you filled all those holes. Bring back Trent Taylor. Good Christ, man. It's really more just
that
about.
It's just a troll.
Yeah, I know, but it's really just more about that flexibility, and the 49ers can go any way that they want. So let's just stay fantasy football, and for me, take a wide receiver here. And Trey Brown's good. That's another good one. This is a deep cornerback group, I think, this year as well too. So they can do whatever they want at this point. Wide receiver would be straight up playing fantasy football and just making this offense lethal, which I don't think is a bad idea because this defense can still regress and be a top 10 defense next year. You're going to need the offense to pick you up in certain games. So it wouldn't be the worst idea to load up on offensive weapons. So you know what? Wide receiver, Amari Rodgers, something like that. Anything, anybody that's available there at that portion. But how do we get Rashad Bateman to fall to 43 so we can just get rid of all that?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nate. You like anyone at pick 43 specifically?
102.
The
102.
Receiver
Excuse me.
We're talking about 102. I think that kind of like what Jason said, cover your ears, like you said, running back, wide receiver, back to back after taking a quarterback, I don't think is a bad idea. Like, I know, like, maybe people will be kind of mad that we spent, a high round pick on a running back, but we know Kyle, we know how good this team is. We're finally going to get to see how good Debo is. Like, why not give them someone else, another wide receiver? Like, they let Kendrick Bourne walk with the confidence that they were going to fill that position. And Fields is going to come in. And I think, like we've said all during this show, is you're going to see drastic improvements in quarterback play where they're going to score even more points than they already did. And I think in 2019, they still averaged something like 30 points a game. I wouldn't be surprised if by midseason, we're seeing them average the second half of the season, 35, 40 points a game because of how good Kyle is at scheming people open. And, if they're healthy, they still have the second best tight end in the NFL. They still have, Ayuk, who we really haven't gotten to see a lot from. Like, we know how good Ayuk is, but I don't think people understand how good Ayuk is until we get him a real quarterback. And then Debo, when he finally isn't being used in this gadget BS way, he's going to be a threat. And they still have Kyle Juszczyk. You go out and get Najee Harris. He can catch the ball. and you go get yourself, just find the best wide receiver at 102 or find the wide receiver you like best and trade down and get him, this offense is lethal. And they're going to win a lot of football games because they have a fourth place schedule. And it's not like the Cardinals and Seahawks are going to score tons of points on you because both their coaches are inept. And so with the Rams, that's the only team I'm really afraid of in this division because I think Stafford with McVay is a really, really scary combination. And I think their defense is going to regress like ours did last year. But at the same time, like, their offense is going to score more points. And so it's going to come down to a shootout when you play the Rams. And if you can win those shootouts, you can win the division, and you can do anything's possible when your team is able to score 40 points a game, because most teams don't have Kyle Shanahan. Most teams don't have this scheme. Most teams don't have this ability to literally score points at will. You know, the Niners are the closest thing to the Kansas City Chiefs once they get a real quarterback, I think.
So we're going to wrap up this show after I go ahead and answer this. Nick stole my pick at 102.
Nice.
While I could absolutely make the case for a wide receiver at 102, I played wide receiver in high school. I love the position. Score touchdowns, get girls. That's what it's about. But I believe shore up that offensive line, that interior offensive line. Kendrick Green, he's a stud. He is very athletic. Ran a sub 5.0 40. He's very athletic to where he could get into those zone run blocking schemes very, very easily. He's a dog as a pass blocker as well. He's just not like an athletic guy that's going to get bullied within the trenches. I believe he's athletic enough to handle an Aaron Donald when you play him twice a year. I really do believe under Kyle Shanahan's scheme, this guy could be a multi-Pro Bowl guard. And if you could grab him at pick 102, which how I view pick 102 is essentially an early 4 because this is the comp pick. So it's at the end of the third round. It's an early 4. So then I think you got to grab him now because I do see Pro Bowl vibes. And I got to give a shout out to Brad Graham on this because Brad Graham's the one who put me on Kendrick Green. Brad Graham's of the SF Niners on Twitter and Instagram.
Love Brad.
But
SF Niners underscore, right? Each had to change it.
Yeah. And then when I look at the wide receivers, I would still be on the board when they come in the fourth round. You're going to have guys like Austin Watkins, I like quite a bit. You have guys like Tamari and Terry, who's freaking Jason's height.
Shy Smith.
Jason's height, 6'5", but he runs a 4.4. Like I like Tamari and Terry. Shy Smith, I think he's a really good possession receiver with some speed on him. There's a lot of good talent still at the wide receiver position in the fourth round. So what I'm going to do is get me a potential Pro Bowl guard since Daniel Brunskill is on the last year of his deal. And who knows if he got to get shuffled around the offensive line once again. The last thing I want is for them to sign Tom Compton once again. And then that's our starting guard. Get me Kendrick Green.
Poor Jason.
At pick 102. Absolutely. Get me Kendrick Green at pick 102. And I'm telling you, this guy is, if he's on the Niners, I can't speak if he's on the other team, any other organization. But if Kendrick Green is a 49er, he will be a Pro Bowler. He is that special, that athletic, that strong. And it fits very well. I appreciate all you guys joining us. It's Friday. We got things to do. Let's go ahead and I don't know about you. I'm going to a baseball game later today. That should be fun.
Who are they
stinks.
I'm going to the Padres versus the Dodgers, so there's going to be a lot of yelling. I'm probably going to wear my Giants shirt that says LA sucks. We'll see how I feel about that. It might be a little cold, so I'm probably going to end up wearing a sweater or something. Appreciate all you guys joining. Let's do this some more. More.